All right, here I am at Cars and Coffee with a Renault Caravelle. So we made it, Dad. This is my dad's car. He has passed. I inherited it from him. Was supposed to move it here months ago while he was alive. He kept asking me, did you get it down yet? Did you get it down yet? Well, it's finally down, so here it is, a Renault Caravelle. Kind of like a Tesla front end, right? Tesla, you think you started with the frunk? Well, this is a frunk. Anyhow, mostly this video is about to share with you how to transport a car from Canada to the US. As you can see, people are just filing in. This is Cars and Coffee in Southern California, probably the biggest Cars and Coffees that there is. So, I shipped this from Canada to the US for 1,800 bucks. So I'm gonna share with you how. It's super easy. I was so intimidated, did all my research, had all my paperwork, and I just cruised through the border. Border guy basically said, where are you going? I said, I'm just going right across 1 mile to drop this off for pickup. Okay, where do you live? California. Where's the car going? California. It's like, okay, go ahead. And with my rented Dodge Ram and U-Haul, I brought it across the border, dropped it off with a place I'm going to share with you that is awesome, because it's not every day. Check out the Montreal plate, by the way. So it's not every day that there's transport up in upstate New York, right? So even if you're in the States, upstate New York, this is the way to do it. You drop it off, it sits in storage until a truck makes it up there. So yeah, it did take like two and a half weeks, but a transport truck made its way there. I've got their contact to share with you too, because they do that leg often. Maybe save you a little bit more money. But transported it was super easy. Here it is. So I will share that story with you here shortly. And Cars and Coffee is just getting started. All right, stay tuned for the shipping across the border. Here's the back end of that Caravelle. Top comes off, of course. Good old Quebec plate. You don't see too many Quebec plates here in Southern California either. And this was the largest engine available for the Caravelle. Just, you know, US, Renault just never made it here in the US. Nice little Alfa Romeo beside me. Should be a big one. This is the holidays, July 4th weekend. Well, here I am in Quebec. This is my father's car, and it was his father's car before him. So this car is a 1966 Renault Caravelle, and it's been in the family since then, since 1966. So my grandfather, during tough times, this is the car he bought. And then in 1978, he gave this to my father. And my father this year said, I'm not driving it anymore, it's yours. So, and my father's recently passed. And I'm here just after his funeral, and it was time, springtime in Quebec, that I could move this across the border, and then we'll freight forward it. So rented the Ram, the U-Haul, and here she is. This is a Renault Caravelle 1100. So there's a few models before it that were not as strong. That's 1100 cc is how they rated them. So I'll have it for the next part of my video. I'll look it up, but I think there was like a 750 and then a 900 or 950, and then the 1100 was the biggest motor. And when you say biggest motor, it's really small. So we got it loaded, and literally look at the footprint they give you on the U-Haul. This barely made it. I'm on the inside on both sides of this. She needs a wash. It's been sitting in an underground parking throughout the winter. But yeah, it's very delicate to remove this because these are like over here. They're not quite here, so it's gonna be a delicate operation getting it off safely. But there it is. So next video will be across the border in Champlain, New York. All right, coming home, Caravelle to California. Oddly enough, this car, the Renault, French maker of course, They did sell these in the US, only in California and only in Florida. And they actually called it the Renault California and the Renault Floride or Florida. So pretty interesting. And I think this is like one of 24 examples in Canada. They did not sell very many. Pretty cool, kind of Karmagia vibes, right? All right, so onward we go. Fingers crossed for getting across the border. And we successfully made it to my father-in-law's house. So far so good. Just gonna reattach those ratchets because it attaches from the front wheels on these U-Hauls. So far so good. Well, we made it literally 1 mile from the US-Canadian border to Freeport Forwarding. If you're ever moving a car from Canada to the US, let me know. Here is, and I'll put you in touch with them. Here's the Caravel, believe it or not, at the US border. And you know what they asked us? Where are you going? Bringing this car to Freeport. Okay, where do you live? California. Here's my passport, here's my green card. Okay. What about the guy who's with you from Canada? We're heading back today, just dropping the car off. Okay. Car's going to California? Yep. All right, have a nice day. And we drove through. I'm not saying everybody's experience will be that easy, but holy cow, we looked at each other like, that's it? I prepared all this paperwork for nothing? So here it is, in the States. We're gonna take it for a little spin and then have it ready here for pickup. All right, we are unloaded. And just to share with everybody, we are literally 1 mile or less, maybe half a mile from the border. So here's what happens. Look at this beauty right here. She has 2 properties. So this is Stephanie, the owner of this Freeport. So I'll give you her phone number direct if you want to just DM me. And there she is, waiting for pickup. So here's what's interesting. Sometimes people are coming from the US to Canada to bring a car. They get stopped at the border, which is right there. I could probably throw a stone there. And then they're turned away. Then what? Well, this is half a mile south of the border. So you can bring the car here for incredibly convenient, low rates, like very, very friendly rates. And then arrange your paperwork and come back and do it the right way. And if you're coming from Canada like me, instead of paying a transport company triple the price to do all the paperwork and bring it across the border for you, yeah, convenient, but it's gonna cost you a fortune. Me shipping a car to California, that car is probably going to be about $1,800 from here, versus if I called a company to bring it from Montreal and just do this 1 hour trip, well, 2 hours going there and back, it would cost maybe $5-6 grand. So huge difference. So whether you're coming to Canada with a car and run into a snag, you want to come back here and park it until you get your paperwork done right. Or if you're coming from Canada to the US bringing a car, this is a great entreposage, or a great place to park your car at very reasonable rates. All right, next up, my transport company. If you want to get a hold of them, also DM me, I'll give you that information. Time to return the U-Haul and get back into Canada. Because I ain't driving back to California, I'm taking a flight. All right, next part here will be the Caravel unloading in Canada. Sorry, in California.